Wow. Hello, everybody. We're a little bit earlier than last time we were here. We don't have any technical
Oh,
breaks as bad as last time. This is still Rift Reload, the place you can come to for everything Wild Rift. I'm AlkBattery, Smax, and we're joined by the lovely, the talented, and someone that we both call a really good friend, Raafaa. We're all coming off of a very fun weekend over at the LCS Finals in
yes.
Houston, so excuse us if maybe we flub a few things. We might be doing a little
Um,
sprinting on this one.
I'm not gonna lie. The way you were phrasing that, I thought you were about to say someone we call daddy. And I was like, yo, is that
Nope.
that kind?
Nope. Already. Nope.
I mean,
I'm
we
gonna have
we we
to.
definitely do call you the Raw Father, so
Yes.
that is definitely a
Okay,
thing.
okay. That's
Yeah.
The Raw
I,
father
I
of Raw
guess I
family.
guess just real quick to address our maybe more hoarse than usual voices. Yeah, we were just in Houston for LCS finals. It was really fun.
it was
And
sick.
yeah, we're still here bringing you guys the content for
Yes.
an hour or so of Rift Reload. And then immediately after this, we're gonna go back to sipping tea and saving our voices for WNS finals, which
Which
is
we are literally
this
flying out
weekend.
tomorrow. Yep. We
Yeah.
are all flying out. If you're already there in Minnesota somehow, congrats. You're probably a player or talent. Or the broadcast people. So fantastic stuff. Again, it is free seating. If you guys can make it out, you just need to first come, first serve. You will be there, and maybe Rafael Bio Pretzel. Pretzel. We'll see what happens. You
Yes.
gotta make sure you follow him on Twitter. I think he's close to 3,000 almost. Um,
Yeah.
but
Also,
I
I wanna flex something real quick.
okay.
Today, to prepare for my trip, I got this cute little mouse. It's a wireless mouse. It's purple and it's green, and I'm covering the brand so that we don't get
Yeah.
any
Okay.
brand
Good.
issues.
Good. Thank
But
you.
it is
Thank you.
it's yellow. It's like these nice pastel colors. I really like it. As you can tell, I like pastel colors.
I was gonna
Um,
say
so I just got this, and I'm very
it
excited
looks
to
now, Mark.
use
I
it.
don't know about you, but to me, it looks like one of the clickers that you use in like a presentation room or like when you're exactly
Well,
like
I
it's just a
agree.
little wireless mouse. It's because I was holding it that way, because obviously you're gonna be holding it like this.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm I'm really excited. So
Yeah. I
I
mean,
can still
a
play
lot of
TFT in Minnesota.
stuff to be excited about, but let's we've all known each other for a really long time, right? Like it's been a couple years. This is one of the first times that a lot of us met this last weekend. Just the people in esports and friends that we've made along the way. I thought we'd take it back down memory lane for some of us. Maybe not our first cast together, but some of the first esports experiences live on air. So
What are you about to
for
do? What are you,
I'm about to do something very very not
what
cool
are
if you're
you
happy
gonna
for it.
do?
So
Oh
Rafa,
God.
Oh,
for me and Rafa, we've been casting for a really long time. I can't find the oldest clips of us together because those VODs are very hard to find. But I do have something from 2019 spring for we were still casting Upsurge, and it was a last minute event ran by our friend Joe Physics, who does a bunch of production
Oh
stuff around the scene.
yeah.
If we can run the clip of that.
Yeah.
For Upsurge. This is a rescheduled broadcast. My name is Mark Rafa Alexander Arambide, and joining me on the left, the right, I'm not sure which. I'm not looking at the screen.
You're left, buddy.
My left. Thank you very much.
Oh wait, oh no,
You're
okay,
living in the
fine.
other
Oh,
house.
I gotta point the other way.
Your
This is
dad
my
and
right
sister
hand, but
were
this is my
still
left.
there. I
My
remember.
boy Dimitri
You were
AlkBattery
such a
Toledo.
baby. Oh my God.
Dude, AlkBattery, we got a hype series tonight.
Yeah.
oh, you
I
look
was
so young,
19.
Dimitri.
Yeah, I was 19. I had a Corsair headset with it was an AT 2020 mic that Mark got me. It was like a starter pack from
Oh,
Audio
yeah.
Technica. And I got home one night from dinner and it was there. And like, I was like, holy, like, Mark, you're a real homie for that one. So, yeah, this is not the oldest VOD, but it is definitely the easiest one for me to find because I have it unlisted, uploaded on my YouTube. Because I was gonna.
Nice.
This is from like one of my 1 million attempts to make a reel. Yeah, this was a
Very
really long
cute.
time ago, and obviously Mark had not upgraded to the 10,000 HD cameras that he has in his room.
Rocking the green screen though, I like it.
Exactly. I had my bed behind me. It was always a mess. But Sam, you're also not exempt from this. I did have to find
Oh.
one, and yeah, this one's probably one that's more familiar from this weekend. So we'll just go ahead and roll the clip. I know you were not exactly happy about COVID pandemic hair. So I had to.
It was all there.
It's just very, very impressive that they came up with a play like that because exactly like you mentioned,
Oh my gosh.
Ocean Soul is like unlosable most of the time, and
He had
you know,
the Tyler
100 Thieves, they
one
know that.
mic.
They know that they
Oh
need to
my
go for a play
God.
like this.
The
And
Tyler one
then
headset.
all the dominoes just fall in line back to back. They set up the Baron wave, or they set up the minion wave. It's not Baron yet. They set up the minion wave. They get the Baron steal. They delay the bases. They kill the Olaf, and then they continue with the play. They, by the skin of their teeth, too, they kill the Nexus. They were close to not even getting it.
How are
It's
you
just
able to get your hair?
Oh,
in
I
that
don't know. If I'm
fro
Radiance, I'm kind
like
of mad.
that? Like, because now it's just
It's up.
curly.
Yeah, so it was if I did it how I do it now, it would be like here. Because I had not had a haircut and so you can see like to the side of my face, that's where it is. So I just had to like bunch it up and like blow dry all in that direction to make sure that it did not stay in my face. And actually, you can't see this, but most of it is tucked behind like my headset here. Like that's how I did it. It was really cursed.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like 2 years ago. Wow.
This also holds probably like a pretty special place in your heart because this is week 1, day 1 of Challengers Uprising. Probably at that time like the biggest show and like your breakout for casting in general.
Yeah. I mean, I'll speak for Raafaa here, for both of us and Cubby, I guess. But we were just at the LCS finals. We saw Tenacity on stage. This is where we were casting him 2 years ago, and he was just on the biggest stage in NA. So that's really cool. But yeah, we're supposed to be hyping up Raafaa here. I know we're trying to save your voice a bit here, Mark, but. Tell us about your start in commentary and what got you into the field in the first place.
RNGesus. Story's
Yep.
over.
Yeah. Actually.
Story's over. No, I started in 2018, and at the time, let me take another sip.
He's a bank teller at that point, I think. Still.
Yeah. Well, so before then, in 2017, I was working for Wells Fargo,
Sure.
and I had been debating on whether I wanted to do full-time school, full-time job, half and half. I was doing half and half, and I didn't like it because I felt like I couldn't really get the most out of either or, but I didn't want to leave either or because it felt like, I mean, if I stayed at Wells Fargo, I could continue just making money. It was decent money. It wasn't good money because now that I've been working esports, I know what good money feels like. So it didn't
nice
start.
flex, yeah.
It didn't start that way though. It didn't start that way. We had to grind for it. So, but I basically asked my dad, listen, I want to try this esports thing. I didn't really know if it was going to be through casting, but I wanted to be able to play, grind games, watch VODs, and then practice commentating. So commentating wasn't even like my primary focus. I had like 3 goals in mind. 1, hit diamond for the first time by not having to focus on anything. If I hit diamond, I would then at least be able to say, hey, I can coach, I can analyze, or I can color commentate. I didn't even have play-by-play commentating in mind at the time. I felt like I had a really solid read on the meta at the time, which was like late season 7. Because even before, when I was working Worlds Fargo in my early days, I was like predicting a lot of meta changes. When I was like super into League, I was watching like all these VODs, right? And so, but as I started actually casting late nights and did an unofficial LMS broadcast in 2018, I realized that I preferred play-by-play commentating more. And a lot of friends...
Sorry to cut you off. Can you explain the difference, just real quick spark notes for anyone who doesn't know? Between
play-by-play and color com. Oh, yeah. So color commentating, you're not calling the team fights. You're mostly just kind of setting up important just game state points for what's happening. You can fill in narrative points. You can fill in analytical points. I usually look as color commentators to frame up important moments, and then the play-by-play commentator comes in and calls the fight afterwards. It's usually hard. It's hard for me to like see what color commentary is. I just usually say, hey, play-by-play calls the fights, color commentator does everything else, because everyone has different styles, right? But
Yeah.
usually we just associate that color commentator is like the smart one. They talk about the analytical side of things.
All right, that works. Anyway, back to LMS
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you had your unofficial LMS. I mean, I remember you like always wanting to like, you were playing jungle. You're like, I could try and like teach people like Italy stuff. You were watching Worlds a ton. You were like studying the junglers there. You're trying to be like a kind of like a jungler positional coach, or like analyst kind of.
That would have been the role that I felt the most comfortable in, like
Mhm.
teaching and talking about. But I felt really confident in the other roles at the time. The only thing I could not tell you about is like lane matchups for solo laners. I had a general idea of whatever was meta, and then I would like learn those meta matchups, but then like I had no extensive knowledge about like, oh, what is Yorick into Fiora back then? You know, I don't know that.
Yeah. People still don't know that. Trust me, we don't need those champions.
True.
Those are
Any-
brand champs.
Yeah. Anyway, trying to cast LMS was not sustainable because 3 a.m. start time for me, nocturnal, I can't do that. So I asked a friend, where can I go to like practice cast? And her name is Rain, and she sent me an invite
Ooh.
to First Blood
Right.
Discord. And from there, there's a community that had a bunch of in-house games, and I asked the server owner, Luis, also known as Pichilote, and he or the server mods would like stream the in-house games for the rest of the community server to watch, and then whoever wants to cast it, cast it, you know. So I'd come in, and I made, like I said, rookie. I have
Sure.
no
Yep.
experience, but it's like, I think something that I've kept since day one is my pure like fan like approach to the game and passion and kind of just like overall excitement for the game.
That's
How do you translate that into a wildrift? Like what got you started in there, and what makes you excited about this game?
Ooh, this is where the honey was. I was like, I swear I put honey in my lemon ginger tea.
It like sunk to the bottom. You might need to like swirl it up a little bit, make sure that like it.
Yeah, I
it's-
didn't get a chance to swirl it in earlier. Ooh,
Ah,
it feels good in my
oh.
throat. It's like,
if you need, I can vamp for you if you need to. You need to take a little bit more of a sip.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
our
from
stories are
there-
pretty similar, honestly.
Yeah, I
for
was
the
gonna
three of
say
us,
like,
so
yeah,
fill
you
in some
have
details.
like Sam, who was actually like a really good support player at one point or another, and was like playing
still
on
am.
teams, and like I think you were a coach at one point, Sam. Is that right?
Yeah, I
for
was.
the Akuma boys. So you were
Yeah,
playing
for
in-
amateur PC League stuff.
Akuma Blades. Or
Yes.
Akuma, yeah.
We
Blades
were the scythes, I believe.
Oh, the scythes.
Ah.
Akuma scythes. That's right.
Either that or scimitar, something that started with an S. But
No,
it was
exactly.
Scythes.
Sounds about right.
Scythes.
Yeah.
It sounds
Sides
familiar.
works. But yeah, I mean, you have you who like played, and for me, it was like I just covered collegiate games for my friends, and like that I met through high school, and then I was like, oh, I want to do casting stuff, and that's how I met Mark. I like everybody was like talking up Mark as like the big dog on campus, and so I like DM'd him. I was like, hey, can we do like a practice and like see like where I'm at, and like if you could like help like give me any pointers.
Which is so funny because I was only 6 months into casting, and I think the only reason why people were starting to hype me up was because I submitted a solo cast VOD to the Clutch Gaming caster competition at the time.
Oh, that's right. That's so cursed, man. That memory is unlocking bad memory. I have I have that VOD somewhere on my computer of me solo casting the Clutch Gaming stuff. For context, there was a team in LCS that was trying to do like up and coming like caster talent like as like a competition, and people would vote for whichever one was the best, whichever one they thought would like go on. And Mark, I don't know if you got I forget the results. I just know there was like some following drama afterwards.
Well, so okay, the reason why I didn't like the competition was it was a voting system on Twitter, but this competition did not have the viewership. I thought something fell.
Choke was coming in. That's Clutch Gaming, actually. The Houston Rockets are about to ask what's up, brother.
You're tarnishing the name.
Yeah. I keep hearing something falling.
Oh, now I hear
maybe an earthquake.
Ah, okay. It was some lights back there. All right. I'll pick it up later. Whatever.
Okay.
CBA can't be asked, man.
Exactly.
Okay. So Clutch Gaming for this competition did not have enough viewership to like make it an fair and unbiased vote contest. It was basically whoever was watching, which was sub 100 people at the time, maybe 200. And then, all right, who's got more Twitter followers? Vote for me. That's it. That's how you won. It did not matter who was actually the best, because in reality, the best play-by-play commentator that was there at the time was Niberia. And he got out in the very first round because he had sub 200 followers. And he didn't really know anyone to like reach out to and be like, hey, can you support me and like vote for me in this competition? The person that won was like a Smash commentator. It wasn't even primary elite commentator. It was like a Smash Melee commentator, but he had 1K plus followers. So he threw it up on Twitter and it's like, hey, vote for me for this thing. It's like, okay, yeah, easy dub. I was kind of shocked that at the time in Twitter, it's 2018. I'm still not relatively known, but I managed to make it like to, top 4 two play-by-plays and 2 colors. So yeah, it was not bad. But at the time when I first got into commentating, I didn't know what the path was like. I didn't know what the road you had to take to get to from point A to point B. And the only thing I knew was the Flowers approach. Go viral on Reddit. Get a clip on Reddit and go viral and have the community like blow you up and say like, LCS, you got to get this guy. You got to get this guy. And so that you would get viewership rising through the like peaks. And so my idea was, okay, if this caster competition goes well, if I win first place, I'll go viral. Boom, LCS next year. Like 1 year, boom, did it. Obviously, that wasn't the case. And I remember being super down when I didn't end up winning it. And I was like, man, I got potentially robbed just because like it was a Twitter follower gap. So, but trying to move on from that. That's when I met Dimitri, because I was brought into a server called EGN, Everlife Gaming Network, and they had a vision of like having a basically EGN's vision was to be like Wisdom, essentially. If you think about it.
Not paid, guys. Not paid. I promise there's no paid ad here, guys.
Yeah. No, this was all volunteer work. They wanted to be their own dedicated production broadcast team that would like license themselves out to tournaments and then bring their own casters, graphics ops, video editors, etc. and I was one of the first casters that they brought on. And because of my prowess, my reputation from being a clutch gaming semifinalist, they're like, "Oh, you should be our head caster." And that was probably one of the worst things I had ever done. Never take a head caster role, guys. Head caster role usually means, hey, we want you to take all this responsibility that it should be on like a broadcast director or a broadcast scheduler's job to do, but we're just going to put it on the caster instead. And so then you just get all these problems like politics where like this head caster is in charge of not only like doing feedback with the casters, but also scheduling. And it's like, bro, what is stopping the head caster from just scheduling himself or herself or themselves on all the best casts, even if he doesn't deserve or they don't deserve to? So,
yeah,
I
was gonna say it was a weird time. You know, we were trying to, the EGN in general was just trying to be a whole lot of different things. It's a lot of unpaid work, and
I mean that's the spirit of amateur right there.
yeah, it's unpaid. If you want to know about how to get into esports, a lot of it is, you know, it is hard work, it is talent. A little bit of it is like serendipity, you know, the luck of being in the right place at the right time. But
yeah,
Mark, you've went from head caster, clutch gaming semifinalist, to now casting a proving grounds, like multiple splits of proving grounds of academy talent playing in LCS for PC. You've done an international event now for wildrift and Horizon Cup. You've done now 2 regular splits of North American wildrift WNS. We're about to do regional championships. Icons is coming up, which is obviously like super exciting. Haha. I kind of want to get into the meat and potatoes of like wildrift casting as a whole.
Sure.
We've had almost a year under our belt. I think, you know, we still have like a couple months before we hit that 1 year. But like what's for you, what is that like in general for your schedule? Because you were casting WNS and Academy at the same time. Like what was your day-to-day like casting during the regular season?
I think the busiest I ever was last summer, because I was still doing amateur broadcasts technically on EGL, and then some Unified Grand Prix. But then it was that, like, I remember there was a week where I was scheduled to cast like 5-6 days in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember this.
2 different games and everything.
2 days of EGL, 2 days of Academy, and then Wildrift second qualifier of the first circuit.
Yep.
That was a banger. My voice was also surprisingly not as shot as this, but you know, it was just like
Danny didn't get a pentakill. Actually, no, he did get a pentakill. But that wasn't in our league. That was in
I didn't
LCS
have a
at that point.
cracked 18-year-old get Steel Baron and get a pentakill 2v8. You know, that kind of hits different. It kind of hits different. But yeah, the biggest thing about the Wildrift change versus Proving Grounds and managing both scenes is it's a lot of time management and just figuring out when to allot time to, okay, time to do catch up or time to do homework, right? Go back and watch VODs and prep for X and X team. I think I was really good about it last summer and last fall because Academy was winding down. I think this spring was a little bit more tough because Academy was very taxing on me, not in a necessarily a bad way. There's a lot of exciting things that we were doing over there, and we had a lot of scheduled out meetings outside of just the broadcast days to like be constantly in, you know, Academy mode. Whereas Wild Rift, we just had the broadcast days. We didn't. We had like some rehearsal meetings. So, but because there wasn't any outside like scheduled things to talk about with the rest of the Wild Rift broadcast team, it was just a lot on me to be like, okay, I have to like either reach out to people, or I need to link up, or I need to set aside some time on my own to do my homework, right?
Do something.
Yeah. And it was definitely a challenge. But I think whenever I got to do Wild Rift versus doing League of Legends, it is so much more refreshing, and it's generally much more fun. Like, I never go into a Wild Rift cast thinking like I have to like put a little bit more energy in. Like, it just comes it comes naturally. Whereas Academy this season, and I'm not saying that I don't enjoy casting League of Legends. I think a big part about casting, even though like I don't recommend people like looking at Reddit and Twitch chat, but it's the community engagement. It's the community engagement
Sure.
that really, at least for me, feels very validating, and feels like, wow, yes, like people want me to tell the stories of these players, right? And I get strong reception and really positive feedback when I cast in Wild Rift, whereas when I cast in League of Legends, it's mixed. There's like a few people that like will reach out and say like, "Hey, you guys did a really good job." That means a lot. But most of the time, it's like the League of Legends scene and the community there has a very set standard of like what they want to see, and if you bring something different to it, you either have to come at it with 150% execution and more than just flawless. It has to be like beyond entertainment value, beyond, and it can't be like, it can't be 90%. You know,
Yeah.
it can't be 90% good. Otherwise, they're just
Yeah.
going to be like cringe or NA Keck W. Like this.
Don't worry, we still get that. You got the EU people who come in for WNS, and they're like NA Keck
Those guys are the real cringers, honestly.
Yes.
And
But like, I mean, but
they're
that's
gonna
just
find out
banter.
at Icons.
Like if
Let's just say.
if EU wants to like trash talk NA for like builds and whatnot, they're not trash talking like the cast, right? They're just like, wow, these NA players are playing like whatever. It's like, okay, well, we'll see what happens when Icons comes around, right? We'll settle it there. What I'm
Yes,
talking
they
about
will.
is like when people are talking about how the broadcast and the product is like, man, this stuff is so scuffed. Like, and they talk about and have no idea that we are doing things with an insanely small budget compared to what LCS gets to work with.
Yes.
And it's just like, man, I wish that people could look past things that are stupid to hunt, like zero in on, like item builds and things that you should just realistically not expect someone to do 100% of the time. And you should focus on the development and these character arcs and what humanizes these players and what makes them relatable. And people just, what people that's just really draining to do that all the time in League of Legends casting. So like that some days when like there's a particular matchup, I'll be naturally more excited. But if it's a matchup and like, you know, I've done my prep and whatever, it's still like, man, I really hope this bit lands. I really hope this content piece lands, because, you know, I just want that the product is received well and that we are changing how like League of Legends broadcast should be done. Whereas like
Yeah.
Wild Rift, I feel like we could do that stuff and people would accept it.
Eat it
I
up.
think, yeah.
It would just.
It's a new game,
immediately-
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
'Cause
Go ahead, Sam.
In League, like everyone knows what they like already, because it's been around for 10 years, 12 years.
Yep.
And like Wild Rift just started, so I
Yeah, I
think
was gonna
that's-
say,
Yeah.
like for not just for you, Mark, but in general, like the basis I think is when we think of like internationally, right? Like when teams are sent out internationally, they will. There's Reddit threads, right? Like when North America doesn't do very well at any event, really. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people like poo-pooing us. And Mark, I know we were watching a video earlier, like yesterday, about this, but like, not just for players and staff and all that. Being nice online, you know, if you should probably send a nice message, even if you think that like it won't do anything, because you lose nothing for being nice on the internet, and you also like lose a lot for being mean on the internet for rather small things. I will say that like we're all broadcasters here, so this is, you know, probably us just like giving each other the
Please
water
be
jug
nice
at this
to
point.
us.
Yeah, please be nice to us. But genuinely speaking, Sam, I'm sure you can agree with this, and Mark, you can echo this. Like these are there's not like a model, right, for how to cast Wild Rift yet. There's other things
Yeah.
that there's frameworks that you can use from casting mobile events in general, and stuff that we brought coming into Summoner Series last year for the League of Legends community, but there's not, you know, there's not the formula that has been found out either by us and I think the other regions, Riot included. Like we have not
Yeah.
as a collective figured out like what is the most successful format. So
Yeah.
hopefully that will come with time, and all of us have been really, really happy that you have the people around us have been very gracious with that.
That's the thing I'm really excited about pushing in Wild Rift, and I don't know where my future lies, or I mean, realistically, where anyone's future lies. But I know I'm.
Very, very, very hashtag deep of you there, brother. Just gotta throw that one in there.
Damn it!
I throw you off there. Yeah. I'm gonna
It
throw
is
you off there.
just a little bit. I guess it's just too much of the weekend, man. Anyway,
Yep.
I'm in a position where I know at some point I have to lock down on something. I can't continue getting to do both. I'm managing it well, but I know that once one of the products that I'm working on gets to a point where it's like, okay, we can now fully support you doing this full time. And in order to do that, you need to completely focus on this product. We'll cover you. We'll make sure that you only have to do this project and you don't have to worry about anything else for your financial income. But in the end, you will have to only do like one thing.
Hey,
I
Shutan would
know
like
that.
to have a word with you real quick.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sure.
But Wild Rift Tier 1 isn't at the point where
It doesn't have
it-
the same
it-
level of commitment as like an LCS would. Like LCS
Yeah,
obviously has
like
one-
LCS obviously takes a lot of pastry's time, I imagine, but
Mm.
you know, Wild Rift doesn't. So that's why I'm saying like right now doing Academy and Wild Rift is manageable because of the format that it's in. But I know it's not going to always be that way forever. Also, I know that I might not always be in Academy or Wild Rift. I
Sure.
might have the opportunity to do something else. So, if that time comes, I'm going to have to say goodbye to something, whether it's temporarily or it's for the for the time being. And that is why I've explained to both of my producers in Academy, so Kelsey, and then to Mac in Wild Rift, that before I go, if I go, my goal in Wild Rift specifically is to help push a certain broadcast style that redefines what we are used to when we are coming over as either League of Legends fans or mobile casting fans. Obviously, I do not have the experience of mobile casting other esports. You go to TJ for that. You go to Scoundrel for that because they've done that in the past. But,
Sure.
you know, based on the VODs, it seems like they kind of took the general MOBA format, which is very similar to League of Legends, where the play-by-play comes in, knocks down calls, color caster takes the fight afterwards, right? Or takes the follow-up afterwards. What I want to push Wild Rift to be like is I want it to be very fluid. I want it to be very conversational. I want it to the best comparison I have and the way I get inspiration from is Smash Bros casting, fighting game casting, where you're just kind of chipping in back and forth because Wild Rift is there's action happening all the time and that action isn't always important. So just like in Smash, you're trading, you're constantly fighting for neutral position, for center stage control, right? In Wild Rift, I feel like you're always fighting and trading and doing things to gain control and overall either tempo or just momentum in the game. You're fighting for control over objectives. You're position to take objectives. You're fighting for control to have a higher gold lead and therefore more stats, so that you always have the threat of saying, "Hey, if we challenge each other 5-on-5 or an even fight in any number stance, we should theoretically always win because we have more gold than you. We have more items than you." And to me, that means there's no dedicated play-by-play. There's no dedicated color. You can have someone that leans one way or the other, but both casters should be ideally comfortable to do both. And so that when you get to team fights and when you get to like really exciting moments in the game, the way you explode, you know, when we talk about like levels 1 to 10, the way you get off of a 10 is when the two casters or the three casters are like trading calls in an extended team fight while at that level 10, because then that's how you hit 11. And those are like the exciting moments I think Wild Rift can be. And that's just something I don't think you can ever do in League because one, the game is not the same.
It's
And
so
two,
slow.
the
It's a bit
audience
slower.
wouldn't take that.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like toward the beginning there, I felt like we were like putting my dog down or something. I was like, God, this is.
Yeah, you were saying goodbye. Oh,
Yeah,
my
I was
word.
like, I didn't know if I was like showing up to a wake or something, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Sam,
Sorry.
bring us
Let's
in.
let's
You're
instead
good.
instead say see you soon, because we have WNS regionals soon.
True.
And we have to get to talking about this event. Let's get into the Wild Rift mode and talking about WNS, because we have our top 8 teams and we have a fun experiment event sort of thing that AlkBattery and I put together for us to talk about here, Raafaa. It is a power ranking that the two of us made for the teams, and yeah, let's get this up here. Let's take a look.
The fun part of this, Mark, is we're gonna put you on the spot, and we're gonna make you fill out this tier list live.
Yes.
So you'll see it on the screen. Production will show you. There you go. Thank you for that. So on the left, this is ours.
Yep.
This is an aggregate between our two like power rankings. I will say the only two teams that were tied were Sentinels and Immortals. I have Immortals placing first. Sam has Sentinels doing that, but other than that, we have both placed Tribe and C9 the same, and our bottom 3 are in different orders.
Yeah.
Is what I will say. I have my bottom 3 a lot different than yours, Sam.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
I'm
Raafaa.
gonna start from the bottom.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get number 8 over here.
8.
Who is the 8th place team at WNS?
8 will be Saints.
Got it. I agreed with you, by the way, on that one.
7, Ailish.
Okay.
6, Suzaku.
Ooh. I need to find my Google Drive with this, actually.
5,
Now this is where it gets hard, right? Because you have an idea of what your top 4 wants to be. Are you? This sounds like you're having a hard time placing enemy.
Yeah, I'm struggling with my enemy copium.
How much copium can I intake?
I'm like
put
thinking
enemy?
how much can Tybe and Luan DJ like
Carry this
two
team.
2v8 this shit? Because I haven't checked and
Yikes!
confirmed. Oh, all right, yeah, yikes, yeah. Sorry.
Come on, man.
Enemy Luan.
How much can they
What I meant to say was how much can the core of enemy yikes
Okay,
Luan
yeah.
carry this
Uh-huh.
team and make up for the new players?
It's just yikes. It's just yikes in 5th place. I love it. This is so good.
Man.
Oh man, I love it.
We got our
Thank you.
first walk off.
Yes.
Man, just put enemy there.
All right. All right.
The thing is, if Tribe hadn't like resurged, and I didn't see Cloud. Now watching Cloud9 in the
Fight Night Rifts.
Fight Night, this is where things get really interesting. And I think it comes down to, okay, on their best days and playing the compositions that they have, who comes out on top, right? Oh,
This is difficult. I understand.
son
Trust
of
me.
a...
Now, while you're trying to think about this, Sam, for your knowledge, you and I placed Cloud9, Tribe, and Suzaku in the exact same spot. So that's our 3rd,
Really?
4th, and 5th. Yeah.
Okay.
Me and you were the exact same. It was, I have Ailish in 6th. You have them last, and
I do.
I have Saints 8th, and you have Ailish 8th.
Yeah. I think Saint's not 8th. I don't know why you guys are doing that. But
So I will say the Fight Night Rift, we followed Saints.
I
throughout
saw
the
that.
entire night, and that one was not pretty.
I watched it.
Okay. Just want to make sure, because
I
Those
did.
games
I did
did-
witness that. Yes.
yeah. If you guys want to watch it again, it's on this channel. The VODs are probably still up, and next week there will not be a Fight Night Rift because we will be coming
Yeah.
back from WNS. So
That is true.
thank you to everybody at Wisdom and Giant Slayer who decided that was a good idea, because I agree. All right, Mark, we gotta get you in here. We gotta lock in.
Let's
your
order the
number
top
4.
4.
My Scryer's Bloom from 2 weeks ago is looking really bad right now, Smax. I'll be 100% honest with you.
Woo!
Again, I was operating under we would have 3 seeds in North America. That did not. did not happen.
Yeah.
Immortals.
What? Let's go!
Immortals
Let's go,
4?
Mark! Spicy Mark. This is what I love to
Oh
see.
my
We're gonna spice it up.
Let's
And
go!
as the jungle main, it really hurts to have the best jungler in the tournament be ranked alongside 4th. But the reason why, we're gonna put Tribe as number 3.
Can we put Rafa's name on the right one? I don't want to be associated with Immortals in 4th, please. I don't want to. I don't want to make that call.
No. Get in there. I love this. Keep going.
Sentinels.
No shot, man. Let's go. Oh,
We're putting Cloud9
my.
at number 1. We're putting
Dude,
Cloud9 at number 1.
No
It's the
way.
merch, dude. Okay, if anybody's been watching since the beginning, this is definitely because the most amount of esports merch that Marks owns is from Cloud9. This guy's actually a plant. He's a plant.
That's not it. That's not it.
Holy.
I think that the identity that Cloud9 have come up with through Fight Night is insanely exciting, and it's something that even the Southeast Asia teams are starting to do recently in the playoffs right now. And I think
Yes.
that is something that, unless Sentinels and Immortals are already like getting a handle on, I
Yeah.
think that is a way to play the game that really chokes out a lot of teams that are not used to it. Now, this is a very is a very big hot take. So
Of course.
but I'm living for the spice.
Yes.
Narratively for me, there's like 3 narratives I was super excited for going into this tournament. One, it's Tribe. Can Tribe reclaim the throne that they have not been able to secure since Immortals have been like on top at the beginning of the year, right? Could this be their championship run to get back to number 1 just in time for Icons? 2, the other narrative that I was looking at was like a battle between Immortals and Sentinels. Like these 2 teams have kind of been at each other's throats trying to, fight for possession of first. Immortals have won every single time, and I think Sentinels are still this team that like have not been able to get first place, but theoretically on paper they are pound for pound almost like either better in the Baron lane, slightly below or just as good in the jungle, just as good mid lane, arguably better. AD, so relatively same. Support, maybe slightly lower, but it's like their plans, they have the best plans out of any team. And so I wanted to see if like that would be just like from a macro standpoint, could that be something that overpowers the rest of the teams? But then Cloud9 is the one that has the most unique style going into this tournament, just based on what tape we've seen. Now, if everyone starts doing what Cloud9 is doing from Fight Night, then I'm like, oh shit, well, never mind. Then I guess Cloud9 leaked the strats
wins.
too early. Then whoever plays the style better.
Yeah, Tarzan said that apparently from scrims, this was in the interview, at least, what he had hinted at was that Cloud9 and Sentinels are doing this strategy. And I'm going to assume that also means that other teams are being like subject to this criminal or like just disgusting game. If you don't know what we're talking about, they're playing double Hullbreaker. Just for context here,
in solo lane,
that in our Scryer's Bloom, I said that Hullbreaker was going to be the way to play the game, so I was right. And
you did, yeah.
I'm super right. It's not just one Hullbreaker; it's 2 Hullbreakers. So
yeah.
Get to split pushing, boys.
People are playing strong split pushers like Camille and Fiora in the Baron lane, but then they're also playing like a Lucian, an Akshan, a Tristana with a Hullbreaker, or even like a Set or a Renekton. Any type of AD champion that could build the item. Graves is a big one as well. Which is funny because I remember in a game, Smax was like, "Man, Graves Hullbreaker sucks ass."
Oh no, man, that champion. That champion in solo lane is.
And I didn't want to tell you at
bad.
the time, Smax. I was like, I think that was just a bad game, and you can't base it off of one sample size. Because Graves Hullbreaker actually is good. I've seen a lot of EU pros do well with it. So, but yeah, I know this is a very spicy hot take, and we have the aggregate tier list on the left, which I could agree with as well.
Sure.
But I am the narrative I'm believing in the most is, can Cloud9 overcome Scrim Demons, which is apparently from Scrims, like they always do well. Like they are one of the best teams when it comes to that. And if we took Scrim results only, Cloud9 would be the number 1 team in NA.
Well, I have something to introduce to you because recently over in this weekend, we got to witness the WCK finals, and this is going to tie back into the tier list, so we might need to go back to it after I'm done showing you guys this. But I have the drafts from the teams KT Rolster or Rolster Y and the Freaks, Kongdu Freaks. They played a best of 7, really close games.
That's a lot of.
And I wanted to show you guys these because I want to see if you notice the same things that I do, because the biggest thing that I see is that you can't see the bans here, but it's still true in the bans. Enchanter supports are pretty big over there. As you can see, Rolster Y won 3 out of 3 games playing Sona support. They also played Lulu and Nami, and Kwangdu is playing Karma as a support also. And they're playing like
Lux
Marksman
Leona
with it, actually. Like they're playing Vayne, They're playing Lucian. They're playing Ezreal Misfortune as well. Like, I think that we might be in a scenario where this strategy is actually strong again, and we actually do have another variety piece to like the mages, because as you can see, they are still playing some mages in the dragon lane. They're playing Lux, they're
Sure.
playing Orianna, and even like Ashe, which is something that that Rest is doing. So I think there are some things that are some pretty big variety in that lane. And one other thing that I think is cool is that they're Kongdu is playing Gragas mid, which I think is pretty neat.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Gragas mid looks
Yeah.
so much fun, actually.
The
So
funny
that's
Was it
thing
pretty
about
AP or AD? Was it like
No,
AP or tank?
full AP, no, this
Yeah,
full AP. Like
Okay.
LC WCK, even during and before Horizon Cup, they were playing Gragas mid. They've been a fan of AP Gragas for quite a while, and it wasn't until like a lot of the EU content creators and streamers like Hell's Devil was like, yeah, how come the West isn't playing AP Gragas mid? Like, this champion has really strong matchups into any of the assassins, because any assassin that wants to like go into him, you just full combo, get your burst out, and you tank it, and you have sustain, and you just outlast the laning phase, and then you get enough items, and your combo literally starts one-shotting squishies.
And it's blindable. Like you
Yeah.
can play it in like tons of different roles. Him and Set, I think, as like a red side pair, are really, really strong because you can put
And
them
it's flexible
in-
too.
Exactly, you can put them basically anywhere on the map.
I do want to also mention with the Enchanter point that in most of these games, Yumi and Lulu were banned.
That makes
Yumi
sense.
banned in all of them, so that's why you don't see
Good.
her.
Yeah, I was gonna
I-
say we could probably
Yeah.
like touch off like just quickly on the patch that it is just a Yumi patch.
It's
Again.
it's Yumi time.
Yumi
she's
patch.
she's
It's-
here. She's the best champion in the game. They buffed her, and she's actually playable now. So that's going to be pretty ferocious. Yeah, I highly recommend anyone who is a fan of high-level Wild Rift gameplay to watch the WCK finals. As you can see, I spoiled the results, but it's 7 games. It's 7 games. It's well worth the watch. I personally think Rollster Y is one of, if not the best teams in the entire world, and this is a very competitive series against Kongdu. And I believe WCK gets to take 3 teams.
3.
Yep,
Two
they're
icons?
taking
It is
T1 now.
Rollster, it is it's Rollster,
Kongdu and
Freaks,
T1.
and T1.
T1 3-0'd their 3rd place match. Not very close.
They made it to Worlds. They made it to
Yeah.
Worlds, boys. It took them a
So-
little bit, and in a weird fashion, they got it.
It's gonna be a really, really strong region. So watch out for WCK for sure. But yeah, I brought this up. If we can go back to the tier list again, I wanted to talk about this because if that strategy is strong and if it is seen in practice this weekend, I think that Tribe,
Yeah,
if that,
gonna-
I think that their stocks
Yes.
go way, way up because
Yep.
Max Green, in my opinion, alongside their sub actually in Hestia, are some of the best Enchanter players in the entire region, and I think Dienzio looks a lot more comfortable playing marksman. So
yeah.
that's a really big deal.
When you look at where Dienzio came from, an enemy last year, he and Selma were playing a lot of like either mage enchanter bot lanes or enchanter bot lanes. Even they were some of the ones that only played Seraphine Sona a ton of times. So he's comfortable with that. Morgana Sona sounds like not Morgana Sona. Varus Sona, Vayne Sona.
The Vayne Sona is the big one.
Yeah, those are things that Dienzio would be super down to do. I'm curious. I have to go back to Cloud9 for this. If Cloud9 plays double Hullbreaker solo lanes and then like an assassin jungle to hover one of the Hullbreaker solo laners, what does Old School and Selma play? Do they play a mage to supplement magic damage plus frontline tank for disengage, or do they play
They're
like
playing Evelyn jungle.
Well,
they're
Yes.
doing a bit of that.
right?
They
Yeah,
sum up the
I
bot lane for like what do you get from the bot lane to try to
Well,
Yes.
I was bringing that up because they did have magic damage like from that
right.
role.
So if they're not playing Evelyn though, like if they're playing Kha'Zix or Rengar,
Right.
then are you required to get magic damage from the bot lane at that point?
I mean,
I'm
maybe
gonna
not.
assume so. I'm gonna assume so, just because they've focused on their solo laners having the hull breakers
Yeah.
and not their AD carries. If it was the
That's
dragon
definitely
laners that were
true.
doing it, then it is probably going to be a Orianna Ziggs Lux bot lane
Yeah.
that we'll see from
You
old school.
you might be able to see old school go like Hullbreaker Tristana. I bet that works. I think that would probably be a reasonable strategy. And then you have
Unironically,
like Meals playing Singed or something.
I think Old
Sure.
School and Dienzio are the only two ADs that you could trust to be in a side lane by themselves and be because they're extremely good duelists. And we saw it in the third major when Cloud9 and Tribe were taking on each other, that it was like a battle between who can carry harder in these team fights. Is it Dienzio
Yeah.
or is it Old School?
You might
Okay.
be right.
We have
I
a
think
lot
that
of
definitely adds
spicy
another
stuff.
layer to this. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for coming up next week and even tomorrow. We're gonna have a bunch of media day stuff. We're gonna be having a lot of fun doing that. Before we close out the show, we have to like kind of speed run through some segments. We have Scryer's Bloom.
Yes, we
and this
do.
week is a little bit different. So Scryer's Bloom, Mark, for anybody who's just joining us, me and Sam have to make predictions about anything Wild Rift, and we let our guests choose which one's the more correct, the better sounding one, and who has given me more wild cores on the gifting center than the other one. So today we are doing a much more esports focused, WNS centered podcast. So we have which of the bottom 4 teams have a chance of making it to top 2. Now, obviously, this is a little bit pie in the sky considering our predictions, but I will go first, and it kind of looks weird after looking at that tier list. I have Saint making it to top 2.
You
These
put
guys
them
have,
8th.
I did not wait. Let me just make sure if I put them 8th or not.
You did.
Did I actually put them 8th? I
Heck
did put them
W.
8th. I know. Now that's fine. Remember, this is an aggregate tier list. You put them 7th. You're like Mark with Dignitas from Academy.
I'm not the
so-
one picking Saint. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Saint
Banger meme.
have beaten have at least taken down Cloud9 before, and I think they have a very real shot with their players to actually like push some of the top teams, take games off them, and if they're able to do that at least 2 times in a row in a series, they just need to win a bunch of best of 3s and just string them along. I'm really, really high up on Crown Prince, specifically when he's playing Baron lane. I think he's so insane.
He's pretty good. I again want to
And
remind
they
you
have
that
Deft
you did
as
put
like
them.
as a sub.
You put them 8th.
I know.
So I don't know if even you believe in this take.
I actually do believe in this take. I did this take before I made the aggregate power rankings.
Okay. Anyway, well, that's a pretty dark horse.
It just makes it better. This makes it so much better that if the 8th place team makes it to second.
I will give you my dark horse. Mine is going to be Suzaku. I think this is much more reasonable, and I think they actually could make a run. I'm expecting them to feel really good if they make top 4, but a top 2 run would be absolutely phenomenal. Here's why I think they have the best chance to do it. I think Premonition is one of the best pop-off players that we have in North America. When he's playing his assassins, he actually does look unmatched. I think that, especially assuming that Truth is not in our tournament, I think that he actually is probably the best assassin player that we have in the whole event, especially on things like Zed. And if that actually is going to be relevant, then I think that's a really big deal from their mid lane. I don't think many of the other players can reach that level. And I think they have a really good structure around it as well. I think honestly from the bottom 4 teams, I think the most well-rounded support is Stove, and he's on this team also. I think Yikes is really good at one specific style, but I think Stove does both really well, and I think they're both playing like the engagers like Rakan Alistar, but I think Stove is also doing other stuff really well. And yeah, I just think this team is also just really well-rounded all around. So I could see Suzaku placing above one of our sponsored orgs, I guess is how I'd call it.
Franchise orgs, whatever. Yeah.
franchise
My
orgs. We have
pushback
that
to
a bit.
this is if you go back after, so when we all saw Suzaku make like really big pushes with Premonition, it was the Zed, and we're like, oh my god, this guy looks awesome, and he like won Finite Rift with it and whatnot. But then you take him off Zed, and I'm like, all right, this guy's like a super middle of the pack, like regular mid laner. And
Well,
Zed
so-
is one champion that you can just
Right.
like, especially if you're on blue side, you're just like, this champion is gone. We're not
So
doing
here's
that
the other
anymore.
thing about Suzaku. I have been really excited about this team for even longer than they've had premonition on it. I thought that they had really good plans, like even in the first experience that we got of WNS as a whole, I believe was Suzaku. They played in the first qualifier, and they actually did look really good. They didn't qualify then because they weren't quite ready. They didn't have all the same players that they do now, and the form that they had to play against with like Immortals and Sentinels coming off of the off season was way too strong. But I think they've ramped up into something really good. I'm glad I called that shot from really early on that they would be a team that's really fierce, and I'm sticking to it right now.
Hey,
Anyway,
Mark.
that's not what it's about.
You've-
We have to see who Mark agrees most with.
What if I don't like any of these takes?
Well, that's not how
that
the
would
show
be it.
works.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've had that before. Unfortunately, the only
The
choice
lesser
you
of
can
two
make
evils.
is actually just pick one.
Not picking enemy smooch. Okay.
Dude, there's no way, man. The mid bot lane gap is too much. I
Who's
can't.
playing mid lane on enemy? Isn't it Boba?
Yeah, it's 9.
It is Yeah, it's 9 Boba T, not random. Like
Man, I like Boba.
I like Boba too, but
I then think for these two,
Mark, who is your Airbnb partner for this weekend? Not named Brandon Colomer.
that's not a valid reason to pick your
No.
take over
Thank you. Thank you.
Suzaku.
I think that's
I-
plenty
I-
valid.
No, I think Suzaku would have a better shot at making top 2.
Victory.
All right, I have to give him a freebie. I have to give them a freebie for the last 2 weeks of the last 2 episodes of absolutely just
A
destroying.
freebie.
Dude, I've won. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've won a majority of these now, even
Yeah,
with
maybe.
this week loss. So
We might be tied, actually. This is episode 6, right? We might be 3-3.
sure.
You know,
actually, yeah.
I actually will give credit for neither of you trying to get the freebie off me by saying enemy,
Yes.
which I respect.
Yes.
Because it definitely made it harder.
Mm.
But yeah.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
we're excited about a lot of different teams and a lot of different players. Even in the bottom 4 for this event, which I think is definitely illustrated by that conversation, I guess. So yeah, let's get into some takes from the mailbag. We have a few
We've
questions.
got 2
for you.
mailbags. Yeah, we've
Yes,
got 2 of the mailbag
really excited about these,
questions.
actually.
Mailbags.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's from our community.
Some
if you
questions
don't
from
know.
our Discord.
Yeah, if you want, !Discord is going to be the command if I'm 100% correct on that. If you're in Twitch chat, go ahead. If you're just watching the YouTube VOD, that link will probably be in the description or in the top pinned comment. Make sure that you join us, as every 2 weeks we get to check in, we ping, and we're like, hey, this is our guest. Let's see. And especially in last episodes, people have been kind of getting in there and putting down some pretty good questions, especially this week. I was actually really impressed with what we got. So Sam, take it away.
All right, so let's get into our first question. These are both for you, Raafaa, but I guess we can probably give some input. This is from Yenna. Yenna asks, what do you look for in a player to make you say, oh shoot, they're good? Like big highlight moments. That is the exact quote, but yeah, what makes a player stand out to you specifically?
I think it's a player's willingness to go for a play and like have no regrets, no fear about it. And obviously, if they keep doing it and it's like a 0% consistency, then it's like, I can still appreciate that this player is trying, but someone that is able to like go and make a play because they're down more than 6,000 gold, right? And you got to do something to win the game. That is obviously going to be someone that I keep my eye out for. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've liked Tybe so much in the past, because I don't think there's in any other jungler in the wildrift scene that has stolen more objectives than he has.
That was
career-wise.
crazy
That's
though.
true.
Actually though, that weekend was just like, actually no Baron is safe. It is always a coin flip if someone's alive.
Yeah. So being a clutch miracle playmaker is like, I mean, it seems like, oh yeah, just steal Baron forehead.
True.
But if you're willing to do that and willing to try that and you pull it off, like you have to be a risk taker if you want to be the best. You can, if you want to be a safe, good, consistent player that will not lose the game, that's cool. I'm not going to really focus on you then. I'm going to just be like, hey, this guy's reliable and he's always maintaining down the fort, you know, for the rest of the team. We'll give you credits, we'll give you props on it. But if you're someone that is like saying, I will make or break the play for the game, I will do what I need to do to put our team ahead.
Mhm.
And if
I
you
wanna-
are able to do that, yeah.
I want to add on to that too, because I think that's definitely an easy way to get your name into our mouths, I guess. But you don't always want to have a team with 5 players that are exactly like that
Right.
on it, because
Right.
if one person's going to do it, then the rest of the people on the team need to be ready to make that play
Support them.
actually be game ending and make it the game come backable. Because if somebody like finds the sickest Lee Sin kick of all time, but it's not communicated to the team and nobody's in range to follow up, then it is no longer the sickest Lee Sin kick of all time. It does depend on the rest of the team following in line. So I'd say, I guess that's more so as like a unit of 5 players rather than just one individually. But when you have that play that you're describing, Rafa, and then the other 4 players like follow in line and make it that like game ending thing, then that is also like like maybe just as valuable as the guy who is making all of it happen. So yeah, it's snap engages and snap decision making
Sure.
is always just so important
Yeah.
in a game
Ye-
like this.
You can't have 5 cooks in the kitchen. Like some need to be like the line chefs that like execute the vision for the play, or you know. So usually when you look at a team, you have 1 or 2 clutch players or people that demand the most resources and are able to, you know, carry out certain things, and the rest of the team supports and facilitates that, right? And you know, when I said that if you just only play safe and consistently, like you'll never be more than that, I don't want that to be like, oh, so is it a bad thing to be a role player? No, but there's ways that you can stand out as a role player, and I look at
Yeah.
Max Green as one of them, right? Max Green doesn't do damage for his team. He doesn't necessarily, like, he's not always the primary engage for the team. Sometimes it's T Tigers looking for the play. Sometimes it's starting that is trying to get things started, right? But Max Green is always willing to alley-oop the play. He assists and makes sure that the play is followed through. So having someone who knows how to like maximize the effectiveness and the outcome of a play, then that is someone that we also look at, because they understand how vital it is that what someone else is doing is carried through and executed correctly.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah, I mean, sounds a lot like for me anyway. Just have good fundamentals. It goes overlooked a lot if you don't have the basics. You're just gonna write it down.
Understand
And
what your team wants to do and understand what your teammates want to do and need
Yeah.
to do.
understand your role in the game. Whatever role that takes, whether doesn't matter what position you're playing. Your role in a team is can be very dynamic, game to game, series to series. Some things can happen. Maybe someone has like an emotional outbreak. You just have to be like the tank for the team. Do something. Our second question, moving on from that, what event is your dream to cast? Like, what is the event that like peaks
In
your,
Wild Rift?
anything?
Just
You could go-
anything. It's yeah.
you could cast like a Beyond the Summit and think like you just peaked. You
that
could
question is from
cast-
Precious Me, by the way.
yes.
Any type of international grand final, any type of international grand final. So whether it's Icons grand final or LCS or League Worlds grand finals, that would be the dream. If I get to do that at some point in my career, then at that point it would just be like, okay, well, now the only other thing I want to do is the grand finals of the other international event, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, as long as I'm in wildrift, Icons grand final, and as long as I'm in League Worlds final.
That's a pretty
Sweet.
good, stay at the top. The top is really hard to overshoot at that point. You're like, oh well,
Yeah.
We start adding like the stars, like when teams start winning championships, they put stars on the jersey and then they like accumulate them on the patch.
You get
I
a
like
caster
that.
star on your resume.
Sam, I'm assuming that's similar to you, like international grand
Yeah.
finals is okay. Makes
I
sense.
think it's pretty similar. I think overall, just Icon series in general is my main goal right now, is to try to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. Wherever they have the cast happen, just wherever that is. I have my passport. It's in the other room.
Somewhere, yeah. What
So
was I gonna say?
if you're someone who's involved in that and you're listening, I have my passport. I'm ready.
I was very afraid that
there
you
it is.
opened up the passport and you were gonna leak it. I was like, no, we have to delete the VOD.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're gonna have to edit that one out.
No.
Other than that, though, for me, I would really love to get into two games in specific, anything Pokemon related, and then also TFT. I would really like to get into those two games if I'm picking a game that is not Wild Rift. Yeah, that'd be that.
For me, is a little bit smaller and definitely like I guess for me more tangible than an international grand finals from where I see myself. I always wanted to cast a DreamHack. DreamHack is just like so
Ah.
prestigious, like either that or like a collegiate land final or like a collegiate land in general, right? Like for the people who come from like League of Legends PC, like a Hue Fest is something that I was looking at for a really long time.
Yeah.
But that or a DreamHack, just because having that is like I could do everything else and feel like if I do a DreamHack, I feel legitimate. It is like
Yeah.
it's something that's like a notch on the belt that like sure a ton of other people have done it, but you look at like the pedigree of like just esports in general, not just League of Legends as an IP, but like CS:GO, StarCraft, Hearthstone, all these other different titles. Like so much has happened at a DreamHack. Like it's immortal at that point. So
Sweet.
Okay.
Thank you for the question, Precious Me.
yes, Precious Me is actually someone that I know from the collegiate school that I used to cast for that I started at. So it's actually
Nice.
full. We did a full circle. I was like, I've
Yeah,
seen this name
great.
before. I've seen their like League IGN. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I know this person, which is really cool. And that's awesome. So again, if you want to take part in that, next time we have Rift Reload, go over to our Discord, get in there, get active, hang out with the community, and start asking us questions for our next guest. Other than that,
Which is to
Mark?
be announced.
Yeah, TBA. I don't know if Sam. I think we can. I don't know if we want to like leak it here, but like we're at the end of the episode. We
You
might.
know what? I'm gonna wait for some of our friends at Giant Slayer and Wisdom to actually get the confirmation. for that.
Oh! I thought we already confirmed it.
Did we confirm it?
We confirmed it with the people up there. The person that we're interviewing for Rift Reload confirmed it as well.
Kai, if you're listening, can we announce this? I don't know.
Okay, while we try to figure out whether or not this is official or not, I want to thank Mark and Sam for joining me today. Obviously, our voices have been rusty, and all kinds of dusty. Okay, so
All right.
perfect. Mark, thank you for leading the episode and giving us all of your background, your insights on casting and your life. Is there anything you want to shout out, like what you're doing this week?
Yeah,
May
what are you
rhyme
doing
with
this
Mall
week,
of
Rafa?
America. Yeah, I just want to make sure we know.
Yeah, I don't have my beat button on me because I'm using this microphone and I haven't been able to microphone it. But I was about to say I'm freaking seeing you guys like tomorrow, so Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
We're going to be
Awesome,
living in a
yeah.
dystopia world. Literally, Mall of America has a freaking hotel as its entire second floor. And then we're
Mhm.
casting the event like 2 levels above it. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Our
Yeah.
background will be.
And there's
yeah,
an
we'll-
audience.
I know.
Oh my
There's an
God.
audience. It's the first
never done
LAN
that
event
before.
in North America. It'll be a lot of our first of casting a LAN. TJ and like Degon and all these people will have to give us pointers for me and Sam as to like how to deal with the crowd. We were on the opposite side of that this weekend, so maybe we can like transfer some of our learnings that we got from the people on the LCS. But again, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to production, for everybody behind the scenes. Go ahead and follow Mark and Sam, please, on Twitter. They need it, especially
And
Mark.
Dimitri.
He's close to 3K, I think.
I'm not close to 3K.
You're like what? You're like 2.2, 2.3. You just had a tweet that went 5K likes, like super viral on the gaming trend, dude. You're a micro niche celebrity. I've already talked to you about this weekend.
Of course.
If you want to follow Giant Slayer as a whole, GiantSlayerWR is where a lot of the feedback. If you want to give us anything, if you just love the show and want to keep tracking us, again, next week there will be no Fight Night Rift. It will be downtime. There will be no Wild Rift because we just did regionals, and people are gonna probably be like, okay, let's have a little bit of a break. The players are gonna be out of commission. So I want to thank everybody again from here, us at Rift Reload. Tune in to WNS literally in 2 days. Good luck with that, gamers. I hope you have enough Wild Rift in your schedule to tide you over. It's been AlkBattery, Smax, Raafaa, and we will see you sometime in the future for episode 7. Stay tuned for a sneak peek.
Bye.